We are live, unoriginal FC back in the cut. And listen, man, Canelo versus Terrance Crawford. It's all that seems to come out the mouth of Terrance Crawford. Every other day we hear from Terrance Crawford, all we're hearing is, I want Canelo, I want Canelo. And I'm going to be honest with you, man. I'm going to be honest with you. Terrance Crawford has no shot against Canelo Alvarez. He has no shot whatsoever. I'm here to tell you that Canelo Alvarez knocks Terrance Crawford's head off his shoulders. But you're biting off more than you can chew, man. And here's why. For starters, Canelo's just too big for you, bud. Bud, you're too small. You're too small. Yeah, maybe you can jump up weight to fight Canelo. But I'm going to be honest with you. The max I see Bud jumping up to is 160. I don't know if Bud can get bigger. I don't know if Bud can fight a bigger weight than 160. I think 160 is very doable for Terrance Crawford because I think 160 is the weakest. The 160 division is the weakest it's been in a long time. But jumping up to Canelo's weight class, I mean, bro, you're too small, man. You're too small. Canelo's too powerful. And if Terrance Crawford's fight against Madrimov was anything to go by, I think that for me personally, and I don't know about you guys, but for me personally, I think it put to bed any sort of thoughts that Terrance Crawford could potentially cause Canelo issues. Nah. Because at 154, we saw Terrance Crawford fight Madrimov. And we saw Terrance Crawford, I'm not going to necessarily say struggle, but Terrance Crawford didn't have an easy time of it. I mean, the fight was an uncomfortable fight for Bud. It was an uncomfortable fight for Bud. He didn't have the power to keep Madrimov off him. Madrimov was able to stay right in front of Bud. Even when Bud landed some powerful shots. And Bud did land some powerful shots. But it's a different beast in Canelo Alvarez. If you don't have the power to keep off somebody like Madrimov, you have no shot in keeping somebody like Canelo off your back. Canelo, bro, look at the size of Canelo, man. Let's be serious for 1 second. Look at the size of Canelo Alvarez, bro. Get me? Bro, Canelo Alvarez be on that Mexican horse meat, bro. Don't kill me, but Canelo be on that Mexican horse meat, bro. The guy's a big guy, bro. He's a massive guy. And he will knock Terrance Crawford's head off his shoulders, man. That will be a knockout. If they fight, it will be a knockout. He will knock Terrance Crawford out. He will walk him down and beat him to a pulp. And I think that Terrance Crawford's latest fight against Madrimov just made me believe that would be the case that much more. Terrance Crawford's latest fight against Madrimov just made me believe, it just convinced me that, Canelo Alvarez, that might not be the best idea. Fighting Canelo Alvarez, it might not be the best idea. But, from Terrance Crawford's point of view, I get it. At his age, at this point in his career, it's all about legacy. And he said as much, it's all about legacy. It's all about legacy, it's all about the payday. I understand. And there's no bigger payday in boxing right now than Canelo Alvarez. I get it, I understand. But from everything you're seeing from Canelo Alvarez, from everything you're hearing from Canelo Alvarez don't seem like he's in a rush to fight Terrance Crawford anytime soon. In fact, I don't think Canelo Alvarez has any intention to fight Terrance Crawford ever. And I understand. What's the need? You got Canelo out here saying, Terrance Crawford's going to be an easy fight for me. Like, if they put me in the ring with Terrance Crawford, that's an easy fight. And I agree. Bud is too small. You're too small, Bud. You're too small. You had your first fight at 154, and it was an uncomfortable fight for you. A lot of people had that as a draw. A lot of people had that fight as a draw. Me, I gave that I gave that fight to Crawford 7-5. I gave Crawford 7 rounds. I did. But even then, I still had to look at that fight again and say, you know, I can see why people had that fight as a draw. I can see why people scored that fight a draw. Because Madrimov was tagging Bud. Madrimov wasn't respecting Bud's power. Yes, Madrimov felt a couple of shots from Bud. He did. But in that 9th round, Madrimov was tagging Bud. Now imagine if that's Canelo Alvarez. Now imagine if that's Canelo Alvarez tagging Bud the way that Madrimov was tagging Bud in that 9th round. Bro, Terrance Crawford would be asleep. He'd be asleep. He would be asleep. It's levels to this, man. And Terrance Crawford is an unbelievable fighter. He's an unbelievable counter fighter, counter puncher. One of the best to ever do it. But there's levels to this, man. Weight classes are there for a reason. You're too small, man. You're too small. And I don't honestly see Terrance Crawford being able to fight past 160. I don't know. You know, that fight against Madrimov at 154 really opened my eyes to a lot of things, man. And the main thing that I opened my eyes to was you're not going to be able to hang with the power of Canelo Alvarez. It's levels to this. Canelo Alvarez will beat that man to a pulp. But I understand Terrance Crawford. I understand the position he's in. I understand he looks at the rest of these guys and he's thinking, you know what, I'm here for a payday, man. I'm here for legacy. And the one guy that offers that to me is Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez, man, that's... Get me. Canelo on that Mexican horse meat, bro. Get me, on all the extra stuff, bro, it's a different beast, man. It's a different beast. It's a different beast, bro. Canelo Alvarez will knock Terrance Crawford's head off his shoulders, man. I've never been more convinced of that, especially after Terrance Crawford's latest fight. But let's see, you know, nothing's... Never say never. Nothing's impossible. You know, maybe at some point in Canelo's career, he may have a change of heart and may actually warm to the idea of fighting Terrance Crawford. Maybe that fight does happen. I doubt it does. I doubt very highly. Canelo, to me, just seems he's in a space where he's not too fussed about fighting all these guys that people want him to fight. He's not too fussed about fighting a Benavidez, although I'd very much like to see him fight a Benavidez, because I think Benavidez is one of the few guys that could actually cause Canelo some real problems in the ring. But Canelo just seems like he's at a spot where he's making all the money in the world. He calls all the shots. He's the guy. He's the face of boxing. Everything's on his terms. And I don't know if I see him fighting a Benavidez. I don't know if I ever see him fighting a Terrance Crawford. I think it'd be a real shame if he never does fight Benavidez. I think that would be a real shame to boxing if he doesn't fight Benavidez. But in regards to a potential Terrance Crawford bout, I think I'm cool off that, man. I think I know what the outcome is. And I think many of you, even those that are fans of Terrance Crawford, matter of fact, even Bomac, Terrance Crawford's trainer, is probably aware of the outcome. He said as much if they fight Canelo Alvarez. Bro, Bomac came out there after the fight against Madrimov saying, hey, yo, Canelo, he's a bit too big, he's a bit too strong. Yeah, he is. It's facts. Canelo will knock Terrance Crawford's head off his shoulders, man. I don't know if you want them problems. Interesting conversation nonetheless, though. Let's see if that does ever potentially happen. With that being said, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Unoriginal FC, over and out.